Hi, good afternoon. This is Jim from WFX. We're talking live from WFX 2013 in Dallas. I'm here with two good friends here from Riverside Church and out of Minnesota. Minnesota. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
edit it.
you
So.
said it like a true northerner.
Yeah, I offended the whole area. So we're here talking because the Riverside Church has come to WFX for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And personally, I love the story of your church and how much that how much you've grown, but also have grown with an idea of trying to be very be careful with the resources and being good stewards of what you're trying to do in your church. So, what I wanted to do is sort of have you guys tell a little backstory on your church, your roles, and some of the things that you just your thought process as you've grown so quickly. Or so consistently, but have done it in a way that is careful and cautious, but and wise. So, Skip, your role. What is your role?
Currently, I'm the executive pastor. I was creative arts pastor for the first 10 years I was at Riverside, and so I've transitioned now fully into the role of exec.
Yep.
Been enjoying that new hat.
Great. You got to have new hats.
Yeah.
You got to have something that matches every outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Josh, tell us your role.
Yeah, I'm the facilities manager for 9 years.
9 years. Yep.
Started out as a facilities coordinator,
Okay.
kind of grown into my role as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. So you are a member of the NACFM.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I am.
He's actually the president of the Minnesota chapter.
is that right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
Congratulations. Didn't know that.
Yes, I am.
That, a good.
He's a big
yeah.
wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't talk about it too much, but sure, I'm president.
I have some jokes I was going to say, but
Oh.
yeah, but they're not going to be funny, so we'll keep moving. So being part of the association, has that been helpful in your role?
Very helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met guys from all over the U.S.
Yep.
At conventions and through their training courses, and it's been very helpful.
Good.
I mean, it's been a good relationship.
Yeah, well, it's a great group, and the connection and the networking has been really. I always hear that that's the big helpful aspect to it. So Skip, now Riverside has grown. You guys have consistently grown over the last few years, but yet you haven't really expanded your building.
Yeah.
Does that seem pretty accurate?
Yeah, I mean that's in a nugget what it has been, and I think really it came for us back in 2004. Our team was kind of processing through a lot of ideas that a lot of people had, whether we should sell our building,
Okay.
or whether we should buy some more land, whether we should we should plant another church, or all these different things that we should do. And we had a senior pastor that had been there for a little over a year by that point, and so he was kind of trying to learn who we were and all that. And so we decided to find some help from outside, and so we hired in an outside firm called Living Stones and Associates that I shared with you about, and they really opened our eyes to a whole new way of using our facility, our staff, our finances, and our ministries to accomplish the goals of truly kingdom impact, so that the facility doesn't become the thing,
Right.
but that the facility is just a tool to do all the things that we need to do. And so since 2005, when they finished their project, we've remodeled most areas in our church, and we've not added a single square footage. And remember, again, we were thinking of selling it, doing whatever else, because our leaders were convinced at the time that we couldn't grow anymore. And that was when we were running about 600 and some.
Okay.
And we've been able to maximize our building so that, like on like an Easter weekend or whatever like that, between Friday and Sunday, we'll put through 4,500 to 5,000 people on a weekend.
Really?
Now, everyone comes to our facility and expects that, wow, you must have this facility, and it's very humble.
Yeah.
It's a very humble facility, but the one thing that we say all the time is we would never trade a new facility or a fancier building for the sake of reaching hundreds and thousands of people over the last 10 years. We would never trade the two of those. And so many churches, they get caught up in the building and having to raise money to pay the building that they forget about what the mission that they're all about is.
Yeah. One thing I love about, well, our friendship, but also over time, is that as we do WFX, it's sometimes obviously there's so much gear, there's so many options, so many ideas here. Your story I love because while there's a lot and you guys do a lot, you guys have always appreciated that they are just simply tools to be applied to where your church is and in your situation, and it's one of the many great examples of just not chasing but finding the right answer, and so that has always come through over the years as we've talked about what you guys have been doing.
Yeah.
So your church, what kind of what is your community like? What is where it's located? Is that you city, rural, somewhere in between?
I guess you could kind of call us rural.
Okay.
We would define it probably even a little bit closer as rural burbia, or
Right.
Reburbia, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want it, it's 20 miles away. If you want cornfields, they're just outside the window. So you kind of got both options.
Right. And so, how far are people traveling in to go to service and come to church? Are you
5 to 10 miles.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay. I travel 7 miles or 8 miles for myself, but I'm not in rural.
Most everyone is actually in an oval shape, which is kind of weird. But we have 2 towns that are 3 miles apart.
Okay.
And so most of them are coming between that 5-mile span from the edge of this town to the
Oh,
edge of
okay.
this town.
All right. Interesting.
And we're kind of in the middle between the two.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you're just going to, especially joining 2 communities.
Yeah.
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 Pretty much.
Awesome. So you always bring other people with you.
Pretty
After
much
the
every
first-
year.
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
you
there's
guys-
a couple of years that it was just us two, but we're always bringing new members of the team. and-
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
2 new people this year.
Yeah. So in thinking about bringing people, what are you trying to get out of? What are you trying to accomplish by bringing the people? Like, how do you know? What are you trying to do? You bring new people, obviously, bring new ideas, but what are you trying to get done by bringing the next group of people along?
Well, on Josh's side, he's the facility guy, and he doesn't really have a lot of people that he can bring on that side
Yeah.
to the table. So a lot of our volunteers that we're bringing are tech specialists
Okay.
or facilities like planning types of people, not facilities oversight
Right.
of the day-to-day, but future planning team folks.
Yep.
And so that tends to be the groups that we bring
Yeah.
for the people who are future looking for our ministry pieces in that way.
Right.
So one of the big pieces, obviously, of that, and this is a conference for churches, and so it's good to be generally biblical
Yeah.
in what you're doing. But I mean, the role of pastors is not to do the work of ministry.
Yeah.
It's to equip the volunteers and the people
Yeah.
to do the work of ministry that is there. And this is a conference that allows us to bring some volunteers to equip them, because these are our people that are going back and leading others.
Yes.
And so this is a conference for us where we can equip some of our leaders to equip some more of our leaders down the food chain, so to speak,
Yeah.
and allow us to do the things that we do more effectively.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. One more question. When you were talking about, obviously you came in with some additional outside help in looking at how you can use your building and do your ministries. And I'm not sure how to phrase this question particularly eloquently. In what you learned out of that exercise, was it the process that was the key, or that it forced you to think about what you're trying to do in your building in a different perspective? What was the special sauce of that? Was it the process that you were provided, or just the opportunity to step back and just question the why, if that makes sense? Like when you went to, is that even a question?
I'm not sure that Josh could answer because he wasn't around them, but
Okay.
he could answer what it's been like to be on the other end of it from
Okay.
a standpoint of he's the one that has to work with the facility at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So on the front side, it was a philosophical shift, because our people are thinking we have to build buildings. Isn't that what churches do?
Right.
We have to do these things because this is the way I've been raised. We build buildings and we plant sister-daughter churches all
Yeah.
over that are unhealthy as anything and die in 10 years and whatever else.
Well, that's
but there's this
skeptical.
there's this philosophical shift that happened in our leaders, that it was like somebody gave them permission to think outside of the box.
Right.
And when they heard that idea, they were like, that sounds smart. And not only smart, it sounds like, again, to be generally biblical, it sounds like we're being good stewards of not only the resources that God is providing, but we're being good stewards of the volunteers God's provided. We're being good stewards of our staff, being good stewards of reaching our community. And so it became a philosophical thing that the shift was really something that we needed guidance to make that shift.
I see. Okay.
And so the folks coming in that helped us with that shift, we wouldn't have done that. I mean, on our own.
On your own, you would not have done
On our
that.
own,
No.
we would have done the things that
Everybody
we've
does.
always thought you'd do
Yeah.
from that standpoint of building.
So did that shift?
Right.
I'm curious. Did that then shift from the
Yeah,
facilities?
I
That
mean,
shifted to sort of make it happen kind of
I
thing.
started my position shortly before we had Livingstones come in.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of still somewhat new. I'd been at it maybe a year. So I never really got a full dose of what the culture was before.
Okay.
But when they did come in, I think it was just a openness on the staff's part and on the elder board's part of just, hey, let's just try this stuff
Right.
and just see if it works, rather than say, oh no, we can't do that, oh no, we can't, and then provide all these reasons of why you can't
Yeah,
do something.
I think there is sometimes
let's
a
just
fear
try
of
it.
failure that is quite ingrained in a fear of failure to try something
Yeah.
and being open to experimenting. with
And
it.
you just try stuff. I mean, we thought we were full way back then. And they told us, I remember one conversation where they said, yeah, you should be able to get to like 2,100 in here on a Sunday without expanding. And we're like, there is
No way.
No way. I mean, we're almost there. And we haven't expanded. And, we go, it felt like a low Sunday. And then we do the numbers and, wow, we have that many people here.
Right.
Wow. I mean, we have room for more,
That's just fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys. It's like our annual get together. I'm gonna actually
You
make
got to
it.
do it more often.
I'm trying to come up with a way. Research. I'm gonna go out and research. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. We're here from WFX in Dallas, 2013, and sharing the story of Riverside Church with you all. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you, Jim.
Yes, Jim.